Aaron Rodgers is pulling it off again. He's pulling the goat wool over yet another team's eyes, this time the Pittsburgh Steelers, just the way he did to the Jets and really, in the end, to the Packers. This guy, Aaron bleeping Rodgers, is the greatest media manipulator ever. The guy who I heard for years across the debate desk for me at ESPN and then at Fox was the greatest thrower of the football ever, is actually the greatest con artist ever, because he really hasn't been Aaron bleeping Rodgers really in 5 years. And he's doing it again just the way he did it to the Jets. Remember Hard Knocks? His first time around with the Jets before he tore his Achilles. Remember he just fortuitously happened to be on Hard Knocks. It's because they had Aaron Rodgers and they were going to go win the Super Bowl. Remember that? And remember how the Jets had gone and gotten him his guys from Green Bay, Randall Cobb, Allen Lazard. This was it. They got a top 5 defense. Here they went. And all we heard through all that long, hard knocks was, we got the GOAT. How many Jets said, we got the GOAT? You got the GOAT? You don't have Tom Brady. What are you talking about? I kept saying, you've got a washed Aaron Rodgers. You got an Aaron Rodgers who's gone completely over the hill and off the cliff. And I don't know, some people listened, most people didn't. And then it was actually a great break for Aaron Rodgers career-wise that he tore his Achilles. It made him a ton more money that he tore his Achilles. I don't want to wish that on anybody, but the Jets had already guaranteed him $75 million for a 3-year deal that after they got an eyeful of him in the second year of his deal, the first year that he actually played for the Jets, he was horrible. You go back to that last year at Green Bay, in QBR, my favorite quarterback stat, to really rate and debate how great quarterbacks are performing. That last year in Green Bay, he finished 26th in the NFL in QBR. 26th? The 4-time MVP, who last won an MVP in 2021, finished 26th. And then the second go-around with the Jets, the GOAT, finished 25th in the NFL in QBR last year. Was horrible. They went 5-12. And by the way, last year with the Jets, their defense allowed the third fewest yards in the NFL. Their defense did. And Aaron bleeping Rodgers dragged them all the way down to 5-12, even though they had gone and gotten him his guy, his soulmate. They got him Devontae Adams. And he did have Garrett Wilson on top of that. He had 2 top 10 receivers, maybe even top 5 receivers. And 5-12 happened because he's washed. He can't move anymore. He's lost velocity. He's lost release time. And he's lost the stomach it takes to stand in the pocket and take the hits that you're going to have to take, as Tom Brady was still taking at 45, to win football games in the National Football League. And now here we go again with the Steelers. And all I've been reading over the last 24 hours is he's already won over the Steelers. He gave a speech to the team and he convinced them he's all in. Well, all in? Well, what else could you be? Why wouldn't you be all in? Told everybody in Pittsburgh he wants to be a servant leader. It's kind of an oxymoron. I want to be at your mercy. I want to be one of the fellas, but I want to lead the fellas. Well, which is it, pal? Because you've never been a leader. You've been nothing but a finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva of the highest order. can you ever manipulate the media? And that first press conference in which he pledged allegiance to Mike Tomlin, said he wouldn't be there. He would have retired if not for Mike Tomlin, because his soul was nourished by Mike Tomlin, who will be his next soul mate. He went to Mike Tomlin's annual barbecue. Then he went to Cam Hayward's big player party, and everybody was in awe. And, of course, the Steelers rookies, starting with the kid from Ohio State, Jack Sawyer, said it was surreal to have Aaron Rodgers actually in the same locker room. All the Steelers are talking about he's such a big guy, but so down to earth because he's on his best behavior right now, because he's taking yet another team for a financial ride. This one not like the Jets. $75 million the Jets paid him. Guaranteed money. He got, so call it $37.5 million for the last 2 years, one of which he did not play, except for a few snaps, obviously. And he was masterful at the press conference because he knew he had to shift the focus and potential blame off on what are the cornerstone, highly respected Pittsburgh Steelers. What are they doing reaching for what's left of Aaron Rodgers in year 21 at age 41 after the great Terry Bradshaw blasted them and said they should just let Aaron Rodgers go eat bark wherever he's going to go in the offseason and eat bark in South America on ayahuasca. It's always some contrived story where he's got to force feed the media with another theme. So what did he force feed at the press conference? He wears a wedding ring. And everybody says, a wedding ring? Why? Well, he had said, I had to sort out some personal things. Is that what you had to sort out? So they asked him, of course, at the introductory press conference, why the wedding ring? I got married. You did? We've mentioned here recently a girlfriend named Brittany with an I, not a Y, but an I at the end of Brittany. Is it to Brittany? Nobody really knows. Who is Brittany? Nobody really knows. And Aaron Rodgers loves it because he pulled one over on the media and he's got everybody scrambling out there. Who is this mystery woman, Brittany? It's always something because we know he had a high-profile relationship with Danica Patrick, which led to a high-profile relationship with Olivia Munn, which led to maybe even the highest-profile relationship with Shailene Woodley. And then what? I don't know. Were they just publicity stunts? I don't know. I don't know. But it's one thing after another, because I've even set up an interview to be interviewed because they requested. Us Magazine is doing a cover story on Aaron Rodgers, and I congratulate Us Magazine. I'm looking forward to the interview. I'm going to try to provide a little balance. But yeah, he rivals LeBron James as the most interesting man in sports. It's always something with Aaron Rodgers because he always silver platters something for the media, often through the paid gig that he has with his buddy McAfee, in which they hand him silver platters to present the media with the latest narratives. Going all the way back, of course, to, yeah, I got vaccinated. You did? Oh, but you did it how? Oh, that's not right. That's Aaron Bleepin' Rodgers, who, by the way, for those who have quickly forgotten because they're so worried about the mystery woman he just married, Aaron Rodgers went to one Super Bowl, and he did win it, but that Super Bowl was 15 years ago. 15 years ago. What? And since that Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers in playoff games is 7-9, and I won't bore you to death as I have before with how 6 of the 7 were pretty fortunate playoff wins. Very fortunate playoff wins. especially one against these guys at Jerry World. I admit it, he's always owned my Cowboys. The one thing he's done great in his career is own the Dallas Cowboys. I will give you that. That's the only greatness that's been consistent in his career. He owns us. And remember 2016, Dak and Zeke's rookie year, we had the number 1 seed, and he went, after our 2 weeks off, to Jerry World and somehow beat us with 2 intergalactic late field goals of 51 and 55 yards, hand of God field goals. One, a dying quail that somehow just made it over the crossbar from Mason crossbar. And the second, to win it, was a snap hook off crossbar's foot, Mason crossbar's foot, that hooked hard left indoors, and somehow a gust of wind or hand of God straightened it out, and it made it through the left upright to beat my Dallas Cowboys and save Aaron Rodgers. That's one of the 7 against 9 losses, and they have been horrendous losses with horrendously bad QBRs. And remember how he ended his last 3 Green Bay seasons ended with home playoff eliminations. All 3 home playoff eliminations. The first 2 with the number 1 seed in the conference. The first one in the NFC Championship game at the hands of Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., the GOAT, who's playing still at a very high level at 45, much higher than Aaron is at 41. And then Jimmy G and the 49ers go in there against the number 1 seed in the first playoff game and beat them in the cold, and Aaron Rodgers was horrible in that game. Just pathetic in that game. And then remember his last season in Green Bay when he had that 26th in the league QBR. Remember what happened? Detroit goes in there before they were really the Lions, and this was a playoff for the playoffs game. And Detroit beat Aaron Rodgers in a night game at home, Sunday night game at home, beat him, and he stunk in that game. Stunk. He just keeps on stinking and earning and fooling the world. He's doing it again, and all of a sudden the Steelers are gaga over Aaron Rodgers. We got the GOAT. No, you don't. He was never, ever even in the GOAT conversation off one Super Bowl win 15 years ago. Seriously? With a playoff record like that? Remember that one Super Bowl run, they were the worst team in the back door of the playoffs. They were a road wild card team that had to go beat Michael Vick at Philadelphia. And then it was Matt Ryan. They crushed Matt Ryan at Atlanta. And then remember how lucky Aaron Rodgers was that Jay Cutler wound up in the second half of the NFC Championship game at Soldier Field on the bike in the second half with a sprained MCL. Remember that? And the immortal Caleb Haney nearly outdueled Aaron Rodgers in the second half. Aaron Rodgers was horrible in the second half, but they survived because the quarterback was Caleb Haney. Aaron Rodgers threw an interception in that game that was nearly pick-sixed by Brian Urlacher. He was so lucky to get to a Super Bowl and play against a Troy Polamalu who had a badly pulled hamstring, shouldn't have played. Ryan Clark, my friend from ESPN, was on kind of his last legs late in his career at the other safety. And, yeah, Aaron hit Gray Jennings for that post-pattern touchdown that broke it open. I give you that. It was 15 years ago. And the Steelers are so pathetic, so desperate that they're actually trying to buy into what's left of this guy and celebrate him. We got the GOAT. This guy, it's same time next year, every year. At least this time, the Steelers balked. The reason it took so long to sign him is they're saying, we're not going to pay you $75 guaranteed million. Sorry. They did one smart thing. They finally backed him down and got him to fold and come in for a $13 million base, 13.7, with incentives that can get it up to 19.6. But guess what the incentives end up being. You have to go win the Super Bowl and win regular season MVP to reach 19.6 in incentives. Well, at least it's bargain basement Aaron Rodgers, but as my late great mom taught me, not much, but this, she always said, you get what you pay for, and they're going to get what they're paying for, which is not much. But I wonder, will it be same time next year? At this point next year, will Aaron Rodgers have signed? I don't know. Who desperately needs a quarterback? Who strikes out in the draft? Who gets in that Steelers situation where, I don't know, the Raiders? What if Geno just fails? Whatever. What if he just doesn't live up and they decide they need one last hurrah with Aaron Rodgers at 42 after he's failed miserably in Pittsburgh and the Jets and Green Bay? And remember, Minnesota, they could have had him snap of the fingers. No, they looked hard at the tape. But last 5 years, they said, no, we're going with J.J. McCarthy. That was smart. I mean, Pittsburgh should have gone with Mason Rudolph. He'll be more effective, would have been more effective than Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers is box office. Us Magazine is going to do a story I'm going to contribute to and put it on the cover because Aaron Rodgers is a movie star. Aaron Rodgers sells. Aaron Rodgers married a mystery woman who, well, could be somebody famous. Maybe it's somebody we know. Maybe it was Danica. Maybe it was Olivia. Maybe it was Shailene. Who knows? It's always some media-made media story where it's made for the media because he is the greatest media manipulator ever. Oh, I got this press conference I got to do, so I gotta talk about how Mike Tomlin's the greatest coach and he's going to nourish my soul. I got to do that, and then I got to wear a wedding ring, and then everybody will be writing about the wedding, the mystery woman. I'm married. Really? You're married? Who knew? Everybody will be buzzing about that and not about how Pittsburgh has stooped to this. The mighty Pittsburgh Steelers have stooped because they had no other option except Mason Rudolph. They've stooped all the way to Aaron Rodgers at 41, coming off at least 3 straight sorry seasons. I don't know how you do it, Aaron, but I'm in awe. I genuflect for you. Heck, I mean, $13.7 million isn't anything to sneeze at 41. And of course, you ended up by saying in your press conference that you're inviting all of your new teammates out for a throwing session, the receivers, obviously, and backs, maybe some of the DBs, out for a throwing session. I'm trying to get him out to Malibu. I know that's hard for him, and he's joking because he lives in a castle out here in the LA area in Malibu on the beach because he has taken the NFL for a long ride, and he's still doing it. And I just got a feeling, I'll predict right here, right now, same time next year, we'll do it again for some team reaching for still what's even less of what's left of Aaron bleepin' Rodgers. Way to go. You are the king.